You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
The woman accusing Jay-Z of sexually assaulting her more than 20 years ago when she was 13 is speaking out, and she admits there are inconsistencies in her story.
She's looking for money and fame, releasing a new statement overnight, calling for the claim to be actually dismissed.
In a significant turn of events, the woman who recently accused Jay-Z Carter and Diddy Combs of misconduct. The case is against both music moguls.
Made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
The accuser, whose identity remains confidential, filed a civil lawsuit alleging that Jay-Z and Diddy misconducted her at an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. She claimed to have traveled from her home in Rochester to New York City, attended the awards show by watching a jumbotron outside the venue, and later accompanied a limousine driver to a party at a large white residence with a U-shaped driveway where the alleged misconduct occurred.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury.
In a recent interview, the accuser admitted to certain discrepancies in her account. She acknowledged errors in identifying the location of the alleged misconduct and the individuals present. For instance, she initially stated that members of the band Good Charlotte were witnesses. However, it was later revealed that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time and not present at the 2000 MTV VMAs.
Benji Madden and his brother Joel at the after party. Benji is married to actress Cameron Diaz.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo that's the Last Supper because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about.
But in a statement, the Madden brothers say they did not attend the 2000 VMAs. Inside Edition found this document establishing that on September 7th, 2000, the night of the VMAs, the Maddens were giving a concert at the Vic Theater in Chicago.
In Chicago, additionally, the accuser's father, whom she claimed had driven.
The woman also claims after the alleged assault, she ran to a gas station and called her father, who drove 5 hours from Rochester, New York, to pick her up and return home. But NBC says when they contacted her father, he says he can't recall the incident. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. The woman filing the lawsuit against Jay-Z says it is possible that her father doesn't remember.
One of the things that stood out to me, Phil, was her father. Her father was also contacted by the news media because in her interview, she says her dad picked her up from Sean Diddy Combs' home after the rape, she said, that occurred after, she said, Jay-Z and Sean Combs raped her. Her dad said he had no recollection of this incident. And clearly a dad, as he said, would remember something this serious, this egregious. So I think there are some serious questions that need to be answered. And the way you get those questions answered when you are a defendant in a lawsuit is by filing the kind of motion that I anticipate we'll see filed by Jay-Z's law firm, because there are questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Hours to pick her up from New York City after the incident, does not recall making such a trip. Furthermore, permits and photographs from that night indicate there was no jumbotron outside the VMAs, contradicting her statement about watching the event from outside the venue.
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. She says, I'm positive. She points out the tattoo. She talks about that tattoo in vivid detail. Turns out that's completely false. And the father is supposed to be picking her up. 10-hour drive round trip to pick her up in the middle of the night. Has no memory of that. No one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
Jay-Z has good reason to ask for this case to be dismissed. The accuser came out and did an interview. Well, now, we didn't get to see her face. We didn't get to learn her name. But in the interview, she gave some statements that were inconsistent with the statements that, or the accusations, I should say, that are made in her lawsuit. And it does raise serious questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Jay-Z's attorney, Alex SPO, has been vocal in challenging the credibility of the allegations. He described the accuser's story as probably demonstrably false, citing the aforementioned inconsistencies and emphasizing the lack of corroborative evidence. Spiro stated it's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true, it's probably demonstrably false.
Rap and media mogul Jay-Z now accused of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 along with Sean Diddy Combs. Now, this lawsuit was originally filed back in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as the defendant, but it was just refiled today to include Jay-Z now, whose real name is Sean Carter. Of course, he's the husband of Beyonce.
This morning, disturbing new claims against music icon Jay-Z. A civil lawsuit detailing sexual assault, originally brought against his longtime friend Sean Diddy Combs, now adding new allegations against the rapper whose real name is Sean Carter, claims both men deny. The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs after party she says Combs hosted in 2000. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink from a waitress that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched.
Jay-Z himself has vehemently denied the allegations, referring to them as a blackmail attempt and expressing frustration over the damage to his reputation. He emphasized his support for true victims of misconduct, stating, "My heart and support go out to true victims in the world."
This whole lawsuit is significant for several reasons. First of all, this lawsuit was filed by Tony Busby. This is that Texas attorney who claims to represent over 100 alleged victims of Sean Combs. And he indicated in the past that he would name names. And there was reporting, particularly by TMZ, that high-profile people had reached out to him to settle claims so that they wouldn't be listed in lawsuits. They wouldn't be named in lawsuits.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock.
The legal case was filed by attorney Tony Busby, who is also representing multiple other claimants against Diddy. The plaintiff, identified only as Jane Doe, seeks anonymity, which Jay-Z's legal team has challenged, arguing for the case's dismissal or disclosure of the accuser's identity to ensure fairness. Diddy, who is currently facing federal charges for racketeering and trafficking, has also denied the allegations. His legal team described the claims as part of a series of unfounded accusations against him.
That's too expensive for outside counsel, is it not? I would think it's out. I mean, even if we got some world-class, probably the world-class lawyers here. They're only getting paid $500 an hour. Yeah. You knew that. Yeah. What's your rate? Huh? What's your rate? Well, you'll find out soon enough.
The attorney argues that Diddy's actions took advantage of the vulnerability of these young individuals who were eager to make their mark in the entertainment industry. Busby's statements suggest a troubling power dynamic in which Diddy allegedly used his authority to cross boundaries, casting a shadow over the opportunities he offered and raising serious ethical and legal questions about his conduct.
There's new allegations against Sean P. Diddy Combs. A Texas attorney says he now represents, get this, 120 alleged victims, male and female, adults and children, whose allegations span more than 30 years. The accounts of the alleged victims have not been fully vetted, but their claims involve drug-fueled sexual assaults similar to what the feds described in their criminal indictment of the music mogul. Diddy's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy charges. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City, some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know, and some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with.